All right, guys, so let's talk about training tools. Let's talk about all the sexy gadgets and devices you see people use in order to help their training, expedite their training, better communicate with the dog, so on and so forth. Now, the thing with all these gadgets, with all these tools, with all these devices, in many cases, we have to get rid of them. So the more gadgets and tools I see someone using, the more I think, well, you've got a lot of work ahead of you to get rid of all those things. Now, don't get me wrong. I got them all. I got the e-collar, I got the finger kick, I got the position box, I got the flex pull, I got the magnet ball systems. I've got it all. I got all this, the cool stuff, okay? But just be aware that these gadgets, these tools, the more that you use in the training, the more the dog can become reliant on these things. And if you are anticipating having to have your dog perform all these behaviors without the tools that are helping your dog perform the behavior the way you like, let's say most commonly with the sport dog, okay? You're doing all this with your sport dog. He's got the flex pull, he's got the back tie, he's got the position box, you've got all this stuff going on. He's super cool, it's super sexy, it looks lots like lots of fun. And I see a lot of this on Facebook, I see a lot of this on YouTube, trainers using all these gadgets, and it looks so complex, and people love gadgets, let's face it, right? And there's a big market for gadgets, and there's a place in training for gadgets. Just be aware, if you can achieve the desired result without the gadget, without the tool, do it. Don't fall into this trap of, it looks cool, it looks sexy. Don't be the cool guy, because it's just one more thing that your dog can come to rely on. And now all of a sudden you're trialing, and all that sexy obedience you had, your dog running between position boxes and doing all this cool stuff, it's no longer there anymore, because the training was completely reliant on all these tools. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna bring up, well, Haz, you use e-collars, what about e-collars? Well, listen, when I trial my dogs don't wear e-collars. My dogs don't wear anything when I trial them other than a chain collar. You have to have a plan for fading the tools, for fading the help. The great news is, look, if you're a regular pet dog owner, if you're a regular police dog handler, well, guess what? You can use the tools all the time within reason. Like, obviously, there's certain things you're not going to be able to use when you're out there in the real world with your dog. But something like an e-collar, yeah, you can use it. So tools in and of themselves, they're not bad, they're not good. They are. They can either help you or they can hurt you. So you must be aware of that. You must understand what the tool is giving to you. You must have a plan also to fade the tool if it's a necessary part of the development of your dog. Some of you guys, you live in places where using certain devices are illegal. Because I have trial experience and I know how to prepare my dog for trial where he's not allowed to wear devices, but we use devices in the training. Guess what? You can use the same exact methodologies to prepare your dog for work in the real world and tuning him up from time to time with the tools, but also teaching the dog to function without the tools. It's almost like a security blanket. Believe it or not, something like an e-collar oftentimes functions as a security blanket, especially if the dog's a little bit more nervous or unsure about things, right? A lot of people think the dogs live in this perpetual fear of feeling the e-collar, not understanding how e-collar training works, and that most of the time the e-collar is just a gentle touch or tickle. It's not really like a hammer. A lot of dogs actually rely on that, and you can use that to help the dog feel better. The same thing with leash pressure or anything else. But if you are going to be in situations where your dog can't have those things that assist him or her anymore, you better train for that. You better prep for that. So don't get too obsessed with using all these sexy, cool gadgets, tools, and devices, right? They have their place. They can certainly help you in the training. And I've seen so many dogs, when all the help goes away, there's half the dog that you saw in the training. Maybe it's just simply because the dog isn't all that much dog in the first place, and the tools and the devices were making him look a lot more than what he was, or it could simply be that there was no proper weaning process from these tools and devices, and the dog falls apart without that regular positive and negative reinforcement, without that containment that the tools provide.